feel like the LinkedIn profile, you're
Mhm.
mentioning that the resume should have certain keywords. And when it comes to our profile, should we also be putting those keywords in like our description box on LinkedIn?
So here's how LinkedIn works as far as with recruiters. First things first, I'm going to give this tip because I see it so much and I really need people to stop doing this. Stop putting stop putting in your headlines that you are looking for new opportunities or that you're open or
Okay.
that you were laid off. Don't put that in your headline.
Hello, heroes. Welcome back to another video. I am so excited for today's topic and guest. Now, before I bring her on, I'm going to quickly read her bio. Stephana's mission is to help professional career seekers avoid the pitfalls she has encountered throughout her career. She has over 15 years in the human resources and talent acquisition field, both in the military and the civilian sector, helping millennials and military personnel navigate transition and decode their corporate America career. She makes this complex journey as simple as possible. She provides strategic solutions on leadership development, organizational change, employee relations and retention, and top talent management. She is your leadership coach. And without further ado, let's bring on Stephana.
It's the money.
The wonderful Stephana Nicole, who is the founder of SNS Consulting, aka the Millennial Decoder.
Yes.
Now, that means that you teach companies how to create a dynamic company culture that attracts high value employees that stay.
Yes.
And I thought you would be the perfect guest to bring on because, you know what, nobody really expected what 2020 has, turned into.
Yes.
And I was just reading an article and it was just talking about how nearly 20% of Americans are unemployed. And with the social distancing requirements mean that, there's no job fairs, there's no in-person interviews, and networking events are also being canceled. So I
Mhm.
thought it would be great to bring you on just to help us, the people out there who might be struggling with, some searching for a job and they're trying to just figure out, how to navigate this job searching during the pandemic.
Okay. Yes, it is a challenge, but do not fear.
Yeah,
We'll get you on the
exactly.
right path.
There's still opportunities out there available, and yes, you're gonna help us
Plenty.
get on the right path. So I appreciate that. So how do we like stay motivated? During like we said, it's a lot going on. We're seeing the news, we're seeing the unemployment rates. How do we just like create a job searching routine that works for us?
So the first thing I would like to say is stay motivated and stay encouraged. Let's be completely honest. A lot of you guys didn't like the job that you were at in the first place. You you didn't like your job. It was stressful. It was too much. You weren't being paid what you felt was your of value.
Hmm.
So look at the pandemic as a blessing. This is now the time to pivot and it's now a time to change old strategies because they don't work anymore. So the first thing is first, when creating a routine as far as job searching, take it as you are professionally branding yourself, your
Oh,
career. So look at it as you are putting yourself in the position of the employer as to why someone would hire you. So first thing
okay.
you want to do first is your research. You need to research these companies. You need to research the field that you're currently in, and if that's what you want to stay in. If that is what you want to stay in as far as your current career, you love what you do, then research the companies. Um, Look at what their positions that are currently open. Look at past data as far as when they were hiring versus now. Look at how the company is structuring now during the pandemic, because a lot of companies are working remotely
Hmm.
and seeing how you fit within that. So, first things first, you need to research the companies and research the position that you are in or that you would like to stay in. Now that you've researched the company, you need to now professionally brand yourself as the subject matter expert. You are now, quote unquote, monetizing your skills.
Hmm.
And this needs to be the reflection of your resume. So your
Okay.
resume needs to point out all of the things that you are good at and that you've done well in. Um, Another thing is when you're presenting your resume,
Hmm.
let it speak the volumes of what it is that you do.
Okay.
Okay. highlighted and I'm going to divulge some information to you guys that most recruiters will hate me, because I'm going to give you the ins and outs on how
Oh,
to actually
yes.
beat the applicant tracking system. When you submit your resumes, that black hole that you sometimes find yourself in, we're going to
Hmm.
navigate on how to get around that.
Love it.
So now that you have restructured your resume, and you can always get someone to do it for you, but I
Hmm.
have resume templates that can help you as far as restructuring your resume, because you are now the subject matter expert in the field. So we'll just use me for an example. I am the millennial decoder. I I find people. I'm a relationship builder. I can speak to anyone in any culture, any nationality, and I
Hmm.
can form a relationship with them and bring them to a company if I feel their best needs. So my resume needs to structure that I am the subject matter expert in recruiting and relationship building. And so that's what your resume needs to speak to. What are you the subject matter expert in? And those keywords that are in your resume is what is going to be highlighted in the applicant tracking system. So it will pull your resume to the forefront. All right.
Okay.
Another thing is you are going to network. I know we talk about this all the time, right?
Hmm.
But this is how it all falls together. So you research the company that you're in, right? That
Yep.
you're interested in. You go
Hmm.
on LinkedIn, you research the company, you research the people that are in your connections or you would like to connect with that are at that company that you are trying to apply to or that you would like to work for. You're connecting with these people online, right?
Yep.
You're going to connect with them. Once you start networking and you start branding yourself as a subject matter expert, then they are in tune to what you are doing on the social networking platforms. So you're networking. Once you're networking and you connect with them, then you reach out to them. You are going to build a relationship with them. You're not going to send them an inbox and say, I saw that you're hiring. I feel like I'll be a good fit for this position. Here's my resume. Do not do that.
Okay.
That is the instant I will definitely delete your message. I know I have, because for one, I don't know you.
Hmm.
If I don't know who you are, how can I say that you would be a good fit for the position? I
Yep.
have
So
to
you're
know you.
saying we should just apply through, what they have put up for the application, even if they're, but if we shouldn't reach out if there's no application even there.
Yeah, you should no, you should still reach out,
Oh, okay.
even if they don't have a position open.
Yep.
So another secret. We have a lot of companies and a lot of positions aren't posted.
Okay.
That doesn't mean they don't have a position. It
Mhm.
just means it's not posted. And a lot of the times we don't post a position because we know that it's going to be flooded. I will post a position while working at Delta Airlines, and literally within an hour, I had over 1,200 applications.
Whoa. Oh, wow.
So you have to realize that we more than likely the companies have a position.
Hmm.
They're not posting it, or it's already in their budget that they are going to open that position within the next 2 to 3 months. That's
Okay.
why they do a lot of pipelining, because they know the position is going to come open. So what you're doing is you're outreaching, you're building relationships with them. You are asking, what can I do for you? Instead
Okay.
of you asking for something, you are asking them you're giving them something. What is something of value that you're going to give to them? What problem can you solve? And say, hey, I see that, whatever company that you're interested in
Hmm.
has had these types of issues in the past, because you've done your research on the
Yep.
company. Remember, it all falls into place. You've done your research on the company, you understand the needs and of the company and what it is. And so you reach out to people within those positions that have the hiring manager or have the hiring power,
Hmm.
and you're reaching out to them and say, hey, I've seen this is what happened in your company in the past. If I know I feel this is a problem that I can solve for you guys, and this is how. Just letting you know, just building the relationship with them,
Okay.
talking with them, building. That's how you build a relationship. When you network, you're
Oh, so you
building
don't even send like your
relationships.
resume then. You're not even like, hey,
No,
here's my resume. You just starting the
no,
conversation.
Yes, you're starting a conversation because one, you researched the company, you understood the needs, then you became the subject matter expert within your field, and your resume and everything that you present shows that. But before you do that, now that you're networking and
Yep.
you've connected with these people, now you've outreached to them and you're building a relationship with them. And then they can see on your profile and they can pull your resume and see that information. You came to them saying that you can solve a problem for them. You came
Hmm.
to them saying that you are a subject matter expert in your field and this is what you can do for them
Okay.
versus what you want them to do for you, which is to give you a job.
Oh, I love this. Man, I feel like I've been learning about, searching for a job the wrong way.
That's how it happens. So when you build a relationship, and the next step is you get the referral. So now that I've built a relationship with you, I have shown you, displayed you my subject matter expert skills, which is a need that I know that your company is looking for. When
Hmm.
that position becomes available, who are you going to reach out to?
Oh, I see.
You're going to
I
reach
love
out
it.
to me. And
Yep.
then what you're going to do is they're going to refer you. So you will be a referral. So what a referral does is when you apply for a position and you
Hmm.
have a referral, your resume shoots to the top of the applicant tracking system because there are certain buttons and stuff, functions and algorithms that the applicant tracking system has that says if you're a referral from an employee here, well, we need to talk to you first. Why? Because we already hired Candice and we need another Candice.
Okay.
So if Candice referred you, the resume is going to be at the top. And essentially, a thing that one of the things I talked about earlier was we have the position, it's not posted. So have you ever seen a position posted and then literally minutes or an hour later it's taken down?
It's taken down. Yeah.
You don't see it anymore. That's because that position was already allocated for someone else. We were just waiting for them to apply. So if I ref and that's
Wow.
the truth. I've been doing this for a very long time, guys. That is the truth. If you see a position posted and literally within an hour it's gone, that's because the person that we opened that position for applied to it. Because
Okay.
one, we already interviewed them, we've already built a relationship with them, and we felt as though they would be the best fit. So what we have to do, we have to open up the position. And now that they applied, we've taken it down.
Got it. Wow.
So that's how that works as far as staying motivated. You have to create a routine and you have to create a strategy. And that
Yep.
is one of the things I talk about when you professionally brand yourself, brand your career. You come in with a strategy on how to get into the company and the position that you're looking for. And those are some of the ways that you do that.
I love that. I never even thought about, reaching out to a company if I don't even see the job that they're even, offering a job. I never thought
Mhm.
to be like, oh, let me just send them a message anyway, just to see how I can help them, how I can, if they need any assistance or how I can, yeah, solve their problems.
And you have to also realize a lot of these companies create positions because you fulfilling a need.
Mm,
Amazon is very good on creating a position and it only lasting for 3 to 6 months because that was the need that they had at that time. But
okay.
what that also does is now that you fulfill that need, they essentially move you into another position that
Mm,
is that is that will stay permanent essentially. So you have to realize that these companies can create positions. Don't
yep.
think that they can't. They can. And they can create it specifically to the needs that you bring to the table that they're in need of essentially. So don't think that just because you don't see a position that it's not there or it's not available.
Hmm.
It's just not it just may not be posted at the time.
Yeah, I love that. It's kind of like just putting more power and control into yourself rather. I feel like
Yes.
when you're doing things the opposite way, you're like giving them all the control and them all the power and but this way it's kind of turning it around.
Yep, absolutely. So that way you don't feel as though you are your resume just was put in there and you don't hear anything back.
Yeah.
Um,
That happens a
because
lot though. So if people, okay, let's say that they did apply for a position, they don't hear anything back. Should they
Mhm.
reach out to this person, this employer, like, hey, I submitted, or is that they shouldn't reach out because maybe silence is an answer? Like,
So here's the thing. It depends.
Okay.
Did you actually interview or did you just apply? Because what I'm telling you right now, people are just applying for positions on top of everything. And that's why I said if you follow those steps and you get a referral versus you just applying, because you just applying, you're one of
Oh, I see.
hundreds. You're one
Okay.
of hundreds. And so what we do is we do what's called a Boolean search string. And so there are keywords and there are must-haves that we need for this person to have certain skill sets and experience that we need them to have in order to be a good fit for the position. So I
Hmm.
put those keywords into the ATS system. And if your resume has that, then it
Oh, I
pulls your
see.
resume to the forefront for me to view it and look at it. Also, you have to realize that when you first apply to a position, if you see a position and LinkedIn does show you these things, and Career Building and other platforms show you, if you apply to it and it says over 200 applications,
Hmm.
don't apply.
Oh, that's a good tip. I always see the number and I never knew about like what is too much.
Don't
So
apply. If you
200 or
see,
less,
it
or
needs
is
to
it
be 100 or less.
100 or less? Okay.
It needs to be 100 or less. After it gets to the 100 spot, it's already gone too far because I
Yeah.
don't, if especially if I only have one opening,
Yeah.
I'm not viewing 100 resumes. That's just
Okay.
not how that works. I'm going to
Got it.
put in the keywords that I need, that I know specifically that is required for this job. And if your resume has those keywords, it's going to pull and it's going to bring your resume to the forefront. Also, depending on the company, they have to view resumes in certain orders. So the first 50 have to be viewed depending on the
Oh.
policy that that company comes up with, as far as the talent acquisition department comes up with as far as viewing resumes. So if you're part of the first 50 group, then more than likely your resume is going to be viewed in some way, shape, or form. Because we have to go down the line, we have to be fair because we don't want someone to come back and say, I wasn't I
Considered
wasn't
or
considered for the position, and why is this? So it falls in different lines of, in that nature. See, I'm telling secrets. I
oh
should be
my
telling
gosh,
secrets.
yeah, you've been giving
Yes.
like I've learned so much in this conversation that I'm just like, wow, I'm blown away right now.
So if you see that it has hundreds of applications, do not apply unless you were referred. If you were
Okay.
referred and you were told to apply, then yes, apply because they're going to pull your resume anyway because they're waiting on it. But if you see hundreds of applications, your resume is just not going to be seen. And that's just the God honest truth. If if your resume is not structured to where the keywords that they're looking for that position doesn't pull your resume.
Got it.
So if you just applying to apply, don't expect to hear back. And that's
Okay.
just to be honest. Don't expect to hear back. Now, if you actually interviewed, then
Hmm.
yes, you should expect to hear back. You should expect to they'll let you know where you're at in the process and if they decide to move forward or not. If you've
Okay.
interviewed, of course, within 48 hours of you interviewing, of course, send a thank you email, letting them know you appreciate them taking the time out of their schedule to interview with you. And then you recap a little bit about the interview and why you still feel you'll be the best fit for that position. So the
Okay.
only time you should reach out is if you actually interviewed. If you just apply to apply, there's no need for you to reach out because you're just one of hundreds. That's why you have to
Got
be
it.
strategic when you're applying for jobs.
Okay. Wow. You've given us so many great tips. Just one more tip, and then
Okay,
people are just
look,
gonna have to hire you because you're just amazing. you know.
right. I'll give you a little bit.
Okay,
Give
give
you
us
a
a
little
little
bit.
bit. Okay, so back to like the LinkedIn profile. You're mentioning
Mhm.
that the resume should have certain keywords. And when it comes to our profile, should we also be putting those keywords in like our description box on LinkedIn?
So here's how LinkedIn works as far as with recruiters. First things first, I'm going to give this tip because I see it so much and I really need people to stop doing this. Stop putting stop putting in your headlines that you are looking for new opportunities or that you are open or
Okay.
that you were laid off. Don't put that in your headline because that's for one that's going to turn me off because
Yep.
what happens is if I click on your profile,
Hmm.
LinkedIn is going to show you that a recruiter viewed your profile, right? And
Yep.
then you're going to go and you're going to see, well, who is this recruiter? And then as soon as you see me or you see the recruiter, if they don't set up their profile to where you can't view them, because LinkedIn does have settings to where for a recruiter profile, you can't be viewed. But if
Okay.
they haven't, then you're going to send them a message, right? You're going to get
Yep.
excited because the
Mm-hmm.
recruiter, they viewed your profile. So that means they want you, right? And so you're going to hop in their inbox, and then it's going to be a domino effect, because then you're going to ask questions and you want to talk. And if you don't hear from them, you're going to be upset, and it's going to create a bad candidate experience. And then you're going to go on Glassdoor, and then you're going to write a horrible review.
Yeah.
That's how that works. So don't put that up there, because it's going to shy recruiters away from even wanting to speak with you, because they know that you are somewhat desperate in
Yeah.
order to get a job. What you're
Okay.
going to do is you're going to make a post on LinkedIn. You're going to write a post saying that, like many others, you were affected by COVID
Mm-hmm.
19 and you are open to opportunities, and this is what you bring to the table. Once you make that post, you have your network share that post.
Oh, I
Once they
see.
share that post, it gets out to the masses, and that is how they look at it. So when they go to your LinkedIn profile, your resume should be in the About Me section. So LinkedIn
Oh,
has a feature to where you can add your resume in the About Me section so they can view your resume, because you
okay.
don't want your resume and your LinkedIn profile to look exactly the same.
Got it.
You don't want them to be the same. Your resume is going to have all of the information that they need,
Mm-hmm.
but your LinkedIn profile can be a little bit more personal. It can
Okay.
say things as far as the different projects you were on. It can talk about the things that you've accomplished that you could put in your resume, but you don't want to bog your resume down.
Oh,
Um,
I
you
see.
don't want your resume to be too cluttered, because realizing that at the same time, LinkedIn is also an applicant tracking system as well.
Mm-hmm.
So they can pull, when they put in that Boolean search string, it will pull your profile, because for one, you have your resume connected to your LinkedIn profile. And then two, you'll also have different information in your LinkedIn profile, then all in addition to what's in your resume, because it's all connected together.
Wow. You just gave us so much great value here. And even me, like I didn't even think that your resume should be different from what's in your LinkedIn profile.
Hmm.
So yeah, I've just learned so much from you. So I just really appreciate you being here and just sharing these, amazing tips with us. If people wanted to work with you one on one, like are you available for that? Like what kind of other resources do you have?
Absolutely, absolutely. So you can always go to my website, snsconsultantco.com, and then go to the Canly button and schedule a free 15-minute consultation with you. I do professional career brand strategies on the tips I gave you. Of course, we go into in depth on how to get you seen and in front of corporations without necessarily just applying in your resume being in a black hole per se.
Yeah, that's the worst place to be.
Yeah, I also do mock interviews, helping you get through the interviews, because a lot of the interviews are behavioral based interviews,
Okay.
behavioral question interviews, and you have to be able to get through those in a particular way. You have to be able to paint a picture for them that
Okay.
is easy for them to palette. So I do that as well, and I also work with corporations that are in need of staffing and HR services as well. So I do both.
I love that. So there you guys have it. If you're interested in working with Stephana, you can just make sure you go over to her website. I'm going to leave that in the description box below. And I believe you also have like a LinkedIn checklist for people.
I do. So if you go to SNS Consulting, co.com,
.com.
you'll be able to see, you scroll down a little bit, the pop-up's not there. You'll be able to see a little bit as far as if you go down
Okay.
the LinkedIn checklist, you sign in there, and I will send you a LinkedIn checklist, the 7 must-haves in order for your LinkedIn profile to stand out.
Love it. Well, thank you so much again for being here with us today. We definitely enjoyed these amazing tips. And yes, make sure you guys go and check out Stephana's website, follow her on social media, and I'll leave that all in the description box below.
Awesome. I appreciate it. I love being here with you guys. I hope everything was so helpful for you today. I
Thank
love
you.
it.
It was so helpful.